So you have a bandsaw just like the one over my shoulder, and one thing you know by now, it is really effective at creating a lot of very fine sawdust very quickly. So stay tuned, we're going to show you how to deal with that sawdust and practically eliminate it. Hey, Ray Ruthin here. Welcome back to the Woodcrafting Place, where we bring you woodworking knowledge to help you improve your time and efficiency in the shop to make it more enjoyable. Hey, I'm pretty excited about today's video. Today we're talking about dust collection on the bandsaw, which has been a major hassle in my shop. Let me tell you, nothing creates sawdust faster than that bandsaw. And as you'll see, we're going to do this in two video sections. We're going to tackle the dust from the top of the table in Chapter 1, and then in Chapter 2, we're going to do down below. That's right, the whole saw. We're going to cover all elements. So this is Chapter 2 of a two-video section. In this section, we're going to cover dust for down below on your bandsaw and inside the cover. I'll cut a piece of wood and you'll see how the sawdust is. Hey, and if you like what you see today, make sure you hit the thumb, smash that thumb. You enjoy it. And also don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. That way you're notified each week of all the content we bring you. And that was with factory dust pickup. You have such a small orifice here, the volume is so small that you quickly lose any ability to capture dust. To get an understanding of why the factory dust collection is so ineffective, first we have to look under the table. You can see here that there are several inches of open space in every direction after you get underneath where the saw blade goes through the hole. This means the sawdust is thrown pretty much everywhere, long before it has a chance to get anywhere near the factory dust pickup, several inches down below. So what you'll find underneath your bandsaw is you'll probably find a couple of these that are under here. They use to control the tilt. So I take those two off, and you really have to contain this entire area and channel it out to the dust port. Now I've already started doing some work. You can see here I've moved the factory dust port here. I've mounted it on a piece of plastic. This is actually a cutting board that I bought at a tag sale. It's a great tip for you if you want a good source of machinable plastic or high density type materials usable for fixtures. Buy some old cutting boards. So anyway, I take this out. I open the hole up a little bit, and here I have some old Corian countertop material, just something I had lying around the shop. Instead of having the dust port way down here, I've moved it so now you can see when this is screwed on, this will be right up here. Remember, you need to be able to change your blades. So you don't want to build an entire enclosure around there that makes it hard to gain access to your blade. So the way that I'm approaching it is I'm using an L bracket that I fabricate out of hardboard. Keep the containment zone as small as you can. That way, when you boxed this in, the vacuum is only containing with this small area because of air velocity and the motion of the sawdust. We're mounted here. So the other component of this, as I showed you, is and it's a little dusty. I moved the factory dust pickup. I moved it up. That's what I needed this plastic piece for. So now, as I mount it, I've got this mounted in there nice and close. So you can see this compartment is nice and small. It's sealed in all areas. And to help with that sealing, you can see a bunch of it here. I've already installed some insulation. I use this foam insulation. You also saw the aluminum channel that I used. I need to seal off the hole that goes through the table. That way the sawdust doesn't go in front of the box. To get a completely sealed enclosure, you want to use foam insulation around any gaps, especially down in the corners of the box where the air and the sawdust is going to find its way out. Put foam everywhere you need to. Make sure there are no paths for the sawdust to get through. And finally, to get the vertical height to the table so you get a good seal between the enclosure box and the table, I use this sticky back door seal which goes right on it and easily adjusts to the height. It's done a really nice job of isolating that area. The only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take just a little duct tape and seal this area off. Sawdust is crazy effective at finding any little crack to sneak through, and it will. So now you can see it's here, and here it's sealed, and there's foam everywhere. Now here's the drawback. This needs to come off in order to change the blade or gain access to the lower part. Ready to go in this area now. Once the tabletop is in place, should do an awesome job of containing the dust. So let's put the tabletop on. The arrangement does limit the tilt of the table. One of the drawbacks of doing this type of dust collection is it gets in the way of this. So it can't go down to the 45 in the event that you want to tilt it all the way. I don't typically use this saw for angled cuts. Okay, back out one more time. So you saw we finished the cover for the bottom of the table to help with the dust collection, and that helped with this area. Now the last section for dust collection that we need to take care of is down below. So in order to take care of the dust collection, we really need to penetrate into the cavity that you see here. That way we can create a vacuum area, if you will, so that the dust gets evacuated out of the saw. Now in this particular case, Freddie gone ahead and done it. There's not much to see. Down below here, I drilled a 2.5 inch hole with a hole saw, right? I used a bimetal hole saw and bored a hole through the back of the saw. Here's the third port, which I installed in the saw. That took a little bit of patience and a hole saw, and just sitting and working at it. The cast iron was pretty tough. All right, we're all set for a test. We've got all 3 dust zones ready to roll, starting with the dust hood to handle sawdust on top of the table, the dust enclosure right here. You can see the hose goes right up under here. And then lastly, zone 3, which is the hole through the back of the saw that we use the port to evacuate the dust from inside the sheet metal cover here. So let's give it a test and run some cuts and see how we do. And if you like what you see today, make sure you hit the thumb, smash that thumb. You enjoy it. And also don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. That way you're notified each week of all the content we bring you. And there you have it. You can easily see, yes, even number of cuts and resawing that piece of wood. A few particles of sawdust on the tabletop. Now let's oh, wow, there you go, look at that. Absolutely accomplished what I was trying to do. There's again just a few little particles of sawdust compared to what resawing wood can do. Okay, I wanted to make one other comment. I noticed something while I was cutting this piece of wood, particularly while I was resawing this. And what I noticed was I didn't smell it. One of the primers of dust collection that help you understand if you're doing it correctly is, but if you're smelling it, you're breathing it. So definitely worked out. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the video and got something out of it, got some useful information on how to control the dust from underneath the table of your bandsaw. Question of the day: does your bandsaw have a dust port underneath in the cabinet by the bottom wheel? This particular one did not, so I'm curious, what brand bandsaw do you have, and did it have a dust pickup there? And also, if you want, leave me a comment and let me know if you think it's effective and how it works for you. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, got something out of it, got something useful to make your time in the shop more effective and more enjoyable. Don't forget, if you didn't watch the first chapter, go find the first chapter. It talks about the dust collection on top of the table. You'll find some good information about how to practically eliminate that dust up there. So I really appreciate you watching today. Don't forget to look down below in the comments to see the affiliate links and the materials that we used. We will see you again real soon.